welcome. This is Dustin Guinee, and you've reached Open Minds, Open Hearts. And today is session 22, Mindful of My Growth Mindset. And really excited to share some teachings around the growth mindset. We'll talk a little bit about Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, which really kind of pioneered a lot of the modern knowledge around the growth mindset. But then we'll also correlate that back to some older teachings as well, back to the Buddha, and kind of how mindset and effort and grit really make a powerful recipe for success, not just in school or business, but in life in general. So we'll go through a self-inquiry meditation. Who am I and why am I here? Meditation to peel back those layers and discover our growth mindset. But first, if you missed the last session, you can check that out on YouTube or my podcasts, Open Minds, Open Hearts, or my website, openmindsopenhearts.org. And you will find the last session, session 21, bringing awareness to anxiety. And we talked about Dr. Jed Brewer's book, Unwinding Anxiety, and how that relates to mindfulness and meditation, and some really great nuggets of insight around using mindfulness to address our habit loops that trigger our anxiety. So if you missed that one, definitely recommend that you check it out. And as always, these are free sessions, but if you'd care to donate, it's always appreciated as it helps keep the machines running and all the devices and services humming along. So you can do that on my website, openmindsopenhearts.org/donate. And that's always greatly appreciated. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Always like to start these sessions off by setting an intention. So let's go ahead and set an intention for this session and beyond. And some intentions could be, my intention is to learn and grow every day. My intention is to become more aware of the limiting ideas and beliefs that keep me in a fixed mindset. My intention is to become more aware of opportunities to adapt to change and embrace a growth mindset. So whatever your intention is for this session, thinking about your growth mindset, or maybe a fixed mindset, some challenges that you're having and trying to open that up. What is your intention for this session, for the rest of the day, the rest of the week? And usually what comes to you initially to that intuition is the right path. So let's go with that. So next up, I'd like to share a few quotes with you around the growth mindset. The first one is from the Buddha, who, like many spiritual teachers, talks a lot about embracing change and growth. This is something that we see with a lot of meditation and spiritual teachers. And I love this quote from the Buddha where he says, "Every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most." And I mean, talk about a growth mindset. Every day we're born again. I mean, it doesn't get more open to change and growth than that. To kind of, every day, every moment, we have an opportunity to begin again. We have an opportunity to hit restart. And it's really empowering when we start to see our lives in that way. What we do today, what we do in this moment matters most. And we can learn from the past. We can grow from the past. We can project into the future. And we can also learn and grow from those projections into the future. But ultimately, it is about what we're doing today, right now, in this moment. to manifest that reality, to manifest that reality that we envision for ourselves. So, love this quote from the Buddha. And then quote from Carol Dweck. So she is a psychologist and the author of the book Mindset, which we'll talk about in a moment. She's done a lot of research around the growth mindset. And she says, effort is one of those things that gives meaning to life. Effort means you care about something, that something is important to you, and you are willing to work for it. So I love this too. It's very practical, kind of simple. The growth mindset is really about effort and focusing in on effort. And particularly effort that gives you meaning in life, right? Like, we're not putting forth effort to get recognized by our boss. We're not putting forth effort to receive some kind of outside validation for what we're doing. We're putting forth effort because it brings meaning to our lives. It brings meaning to our heart. We resonate with it. We know it's true because we feel it inside. That is the effort that Carol Dweck talks about and has researched, and that is the same effort that the Buddha and some of these spiritual teachers talk about. So it's really powerful when our effort aligns with our values and with our meaning and our purpose in life. And then finally, Mark Twain, one of America's greatest authors, he says, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. Sail away from the safe harbor, explore, dream, discover. So also love this in regards to the growth mindset. Don't stay docked to the safe harbor. Don't stay in your lane. There's a time and a place to stay in your lane, but there's also a time and a place to explore, dream, discover, take a risk, take a chance, right? We often fall into our habits, into our safe harbor. We fall into our comfort zone, and we don't want to be agitated out of our comfort zone. But like Twain said, at the end of our life, or several decades down, we're going to be more disappointed by the things that we didn't do than the things that we did, right? So let's not have any regrets. Let's pursue our heart's desire. Let's pursue who we really truly are, even if it is this little flame that was kindled when we were a child. We all have this calling or this intuition that we have the ability to manifest. So just kind of tying that back to Carol Dweck and the growth mindset. So the book is called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. It was written in the early 2000s, and you may have heard about it. It's been pretty well popularized throughout the world, both in educational circles and business circles. And in the book, she provides a lot of great examples from the education world, business world, from the sports world, about people that have a growth mindset. And to understand what the growth mindset is, it's also important to understand the opposite of that, which is the fixed mindset. And essentially, the fixed mindset can be explained as people that believe that their basic abilities and intelligence are a fixed trait, so that everybody is born with certain God-given gifts and talents, and you either have it or you don't. So it's a very black and white view of the world. And the fixed mindset in school, for example, a child with a fixed mindset may go into a math class and say, well, I'm just not good at math. And they simply just won't try because they've determined I'm not good at math. It's just not my genes. I'm not even going to try, right? Or it could be the opposite, that they have a natural talent for, say, dancing, and they're really good at dancing, and their whole life, everyone around them said, "Oh, you're such a great dancer. You're such a great dancer." And so they have this very fixed mindset that I'm a good dancer. So whenever they fail, they feel completely obliterated, because they haven't just failed in an experience. They failed as an identity, because they've associated their ego with their skills and their talents. So it's a very kind of dangerous mindset, the fixed mindset, but it is very common. And it can also have some benefits as well. Particularly around maybe mitigating some risk, and not always just going out and trying something new. There are certain situations or certain skills, like perhaps bungee jumping, or something where your life is in danger, where maybe you want to be a little bit more fixed in your mindset. But for the most part, for most of us, we're dealing with jobs and careers that don't involve jumping off of buildings or bungee jumping. We're dealing with interpersonal skills and relationships, and that's where the growth mindset is really valuable. And so the growth mindset is kind of the opposite of that fixed mindset, where people are less focused on their talents and abilities and more focused on their effort. And really, people that show grit and perseverance, this is where the growth mindset really shines, because it's less about the results and more about the effort put in to the practice. So there's this idea of practicing, of evolving, of getting better little by little, day by day. There's this idea of experimentation and in trying out new things. So the growth mindset really is a powerful way to see the world, and the Buddha certainly, I think, also echoes that. And one of the things that Dweck, she really focuses in on children and children, child education, which is really fascinating for me as a parent with 1 and a 4-year-old. Because one of the things she says, that when you say to a child, "Oh, you're so smart, you're so smart, you're so good at this thing," right? We as adults, we think, "Oh, that's a very nice thing to say to a child. We're encouraging that child. They're so smart. They did good on their homework." But in reality, what Carol Dweck has found in her research is that when you continue to extol an attribute of a child, like "you're so smart," they begin to identify with that attribute, so that whenever they fail at in this case, school, if they have any challenges in school, they will see that as an attack on their own ego and demoralizing to their own identity, right? Which can be really quite dangerous, because then they no longer want to take a risk, so they only stay in their own lane, and they don't pursue subjects that maybe are not in their wheelhouse. And so they never really grow and expand. They're just kind of confining and constricting to protect their ego and to continue that brand of, "Oh, I'm so smart," right? So the opposite of that with the growth mindset would be, rather than saying to the child, "Oh, you're so smart," you compliment their effort. You compliment their perseverance or their grit that they've shown at a task, right? So if they were working really hard on, like, let's say a math test, and let's say it was a student that was evolving. Maybe they're not a great math student. Maybe they got a C on the test, but that was a big improvement because they've been an F student. You say, "Oh, I really admire the effort that you put forward. I'm seeing a lot of progress in your math abilities, and I want to continue to help you to grow those math abilities," right? So it's a different, just shifting and reframing in the way that we encourage children. And I think that relates to adults as well, too, right? Like we all need more encouragement. And so this kind of growth mindset approach, I think, can be beneficial whether we're talking with children or talking to other adults. How do we kind of bring that growth mindset out of others? And to kind of tie this back to Buddhism and some ancient wisdom, the Buddha talks about right effort as part of the Eightfold Path, and kind of the growth that happens when putting forward right effort. And so the Buddha talks about 4 aspects of right effort. So he talks about the effort to prevent unwholesome qualities. So things like greed, anger, ignorance. Simply putting forward effort to prevent those unwholesome qualities from arising in our conscience, right, or in our actions. And then number 2, he talks about the effort to extinguish unwholesome qualities that have already arisen. So once anger, frustration, these things have arisen, how can we mindfully extinguish and change that energy? And then number 3, the Buddha talks about the effort to cultivate skillful or wholesome qualities. So things like loving kindness, compassion, wisdom. How do we cultivate more of those wholesome qualities through our right effort in our mindfulness? And then the 4th aspect is the effort to strengthen the wholesome qualities that have already arisen. So if we're feeling generosity, how do we continue to cultivate that feeling of generosity? Or if we have feelings of loving kindness, how do we continue to grow those emotions and those actions related to loving kindness? So that's just another lens to think about effort and growth. The Buddha talks about the unwholesome qualities versus the wholesome, and how we want to cultivate more wholesome qualities. And I think Carol Dweck's research touches on a very similar thing. It's about calling out one's qualities rather than one's identity. And I think that's so powerful to complement the qualities and the actions, because it's really more about what actions are you taking, and how, especially in terms of education, how do we cultivate more of those positive actions in those that we're educating. So yeah, with that, I'd like to get into a meditation. Let's begin. Greetings, this is Dustin Guinee, and I'll be your guide on today's meditation as we explore cultivating a growth mindset through self-inquiry. And this process of self-inquiry is a really powerful method for us to start to ask some deeper questions, such as, who am I? And why am I here? And this method of self-inquiry, it's less about analyzing who am I and kind of going through all the multiple answers of what that could be. And it's really a mantra, a rhetorical question that as we continue to ask the question, we begin to unfold the layers of ourself and who we are. So with that, before we get started, let's go ahead and do a few deep breaths. So deep breath in through the nose, filling up the diaphragm, and release. Releasing through the mouth, letting that air empty out. And deep breath in through the nose, filling up the diaphragm, and release. Releasing through the mouth. And deep breath in. Filling up the diaphragm and release. Releasing through the mouth. So we start our meditation today with the question, who am I? Who am I? We may start at a surface level, thinking about, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a father, mother, son, daughter. And as we continue to reflect on this question, who am I? We begin to peel back the surface layers of how the outside world identifies us. And we begin to uncover the inside world of who we are. Who am I? Who am I at the core of my being? Who am I behind the thoughts, the projections, the feelings? I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I am the watcher behind the thoughts and feelings. I am the I behind the I. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And as we contemplate, who am I? The next question that evolves is, why am I here? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Why am I here on planet Earth? What am I meant to do? What is my heart calling me to do? We tap into not what the outside world or others may tell us what we're meant to do or what we're supposed to do, but really a deeper place within ourselves. When we've peeled behind those layers, why am I here? And as we think about those moments, experiences that bring us great joy, bring us great purpose, we begin to identify why we are here. Those real moments shared with loved ones or friends. Those moments of service where we've provided a valuable service to others. We begin to identify why we are here. Those moments of self-growth and discovery. We begin to uncover why we are here. And we all have these memories from childhood where we had dreams of who we wanted to be when we grew up. And for many of us, in that state of childhood, that state of innocence and curiosity, we may have had grand visions of our future. We may have dreamt of being an astronaut or the president or a doctor. And perhaps we're at a state in our lives where those things have not come to fruition, and maybe we even feel a little resentment or guilt or sadness. But I'm sure that there was an inspiration or a spark, an attribute or ability that you pursued in your youth, in your childhood, that has always been alive inside of you, that is just there like a candle flame. It may not be bright, but it's always there, and it's lying dormant, and it's waiting to express itself through you. And this may not be the manifestation that you envisioned as a child. It may be different now as you're older. But what was that inspiration? What was that driving force, that virtue that you held so tight to your heart at a young age? Because I invite you to bring that back to the present moment, to uncover that ability or attribute or service that perhaps is looking to be expressed more fully through you now. So as we contemplate, who am I and why am I here? It's an opportunity to reconnect to our intuition, to our hearts. The I behind the I. To listen to that voice of intuition. What does that voice say that we are? What is that voice calling us to do? Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? I am a conscious being, ever expanding, ever growing, ever changing. Who am I? I am undefined. I am in transformation. Every day, an opportunity to begin again. Every moment, a chance to start a new chapter. Who am I? I'm embracing change. Why am I here? I am here to grow. I am here to transform. I am here to be of service to myself and to others. I am here to be a fully authentic expression of myself realized. Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? And I'd like to close this meditation with a poem that I've written entitled Time to Grow. A time to grow, a time to change, a time to renew and begin again. Make me like the seed, infinite in potential, transforming into purity to what is most essential. Make me like the flower, to give my beauty freely, giving of my gifts so you can truly see me. Make me like the tree, with courage and strength, towering in power, while rooted in thanks. Make me like the earth, the foundation of all truth, a solid rock to stand on, put my effort to good use. Liberate me from my ego, how Mother Nature does, selfless in her ecosystem, unconditional in her love. A servant to the greater good, an agent of change, sharing growth and insights through energies exchanged. This is the way, interconnected with all life. But when the ego creeps in, so begins the pain and strife. Make me but a seed in the soil of humanity, so I may grow within your heart till you see me as your family. Make me nothing but awareness. Is there really anything else? After the politics and pride have been put up on the shelf. Make me a hollow reed, from which the pith of self hath blown, to be a channel of love, and make every heart my own. I am with you in good times. I am with you when it's hard. I see your true reality, and the act you can discard. I see you for who you truly are, embodied blood and bone, animated through the stars, making growth my home. A time to grow, a time to change, a time to renew and begin again. You are ever changing and evolving, and I'm always here for you. Signed, your inner truth. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Hey there, friend. If you enjoyed that session and would like to join me in real time, then go to openmindsopenhearts.org and sign up for my free classes the first and third Wednesday of each month at 5 p.m. Pacific time. I'd love to meet you in person via Zoom online for these sessions. Also, on my website, you can find past guided meditations. You can find my training sessions where I go deeper into the science and mindfulness practices around this content. You'll find my poetry for meditation, original music, and a variety of other resources to guide you on your meditation and mindfulness practice. So go to openmindsopenhearts.org, sign up, and I hope to see you at the next session.